Hi, friends. It's Bob and Fran, and you know that we are all about healthy aging. We're so glad that you're here to meet one of the most influential and popular plant-based chefs on the internet today, our friend Terri Edwards of eatplantbased.com.
I had the pleasure of taking several cooking classes from Terri a few years ago. I found her recipes not only healthy and delicious, but easy to make, which was really important to me because I don't like complicated recipes. She really set us on the right path to a whole food, plant-based lifestyle.
Yeah, she was really an important player in our life.
She did everything but come over and cook for us.
Yeah.
Terri Edwards is the blogger behind eatplantbased.com. She's also a licensed food for life instructor with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and a plant-based writer and speaker. After recovering from medical issues by switching to a plant-based lifestyle back in 2013, Terri took on a personal mission to promote the power of food for restored health and to see lives change just like hers was. Terri's blog, Eat Plant Based, is an online oasis for those seeking wellness and restored health through scientifically proven plant-based nutrition. Eat Plant-Based offers healthy, plant-based recipes, success stories, and the latest information on nutritional scientific research.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it. We know how busy you are.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's great to see you two again, and you inspire me continuously on the social media platforms. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Terri, I thought by way of introducing you to our audience, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and also going forward, your journey to a plant-based, whole food plant-based lifestyle. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in 2013 was my first introduction to plant-based nutrition. Had never even heard of it before, but I was dealing with health issues of my own. I had a number of things that had been going on for years, and at that time I was 45 years old, and I had had just hints of things over the years that were medical issues that were starting to get worse as I aged. When I was 19, I first had a few incidents that were worrisome, but I was young and I was very fit. At that time, I think I weighed 110, 115 pounds, maybe. I was very active. But at age 19, I found out I had cholesterol that was too high, which was, I didn't fit the bill for that with my age and my physical fitness, but it was running in the mid 200s, 220, somewhere around in there, and which was very surprising. We didn't do anything about it at that point, but I was aware of it. And the other thing that happened when I was that young was that I found my first lump in my breast at 19. I ended up having a mammogram, my first mammogram at 35. At 19, they found out I had something called fibrocystic breast disorder, which I know a lot of women, your followers, are probably familiar with that. You find random lumps here and there that can be quite scary. And that was what was going on with me, but it was just continuous. And even at 35, by 35, I had two ultrasounds already, and two mammograms already. And one of them led to an ultrasound because they still weren't sure about the suspicious lump. So those are things that I was dealing with. But over the years, as you age, more things start, you usually gain weight, which my weight issue began in my mid 20s. That's when I had my daughter. And after I gained 70 pounds with my pregnancy, and I don't recommend that for anyone, actually recommend avoiding that at all costs. But that began a yo-yo weight gain, weight loss life cycle for me. So I was trying all kinds of, I was probably about, at different points in my life, probably anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds overweight at different times, and trying many different diets that were out there. There's always, the new fad thing, and I was trying all kinds of things. But I also started having some sleep issues and found myself having to take medication at nighttime to go to sleep. It was either, sometimes it started off with melatonin, and then I started increasing the dosage of that and ended up taking Tylenol PM very regularly. And during this time, I also developed other things, high blood pressure. I hear thunder. We got thunder coming. Your storm is coming my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, over time, I had a number of things going on, but the biggest problem for me, the scariest problem, I would say, was when I was 35, I started having joint problems. And it started in my hands. So even though I was a little overweight, not a lot overweight at that time, I was a little overweight, it wasn't with what you would think of, which would be weight-bearing joints. Normally problems with your joints that is caused by weight will be in your ankles and your knees and your hips and things, and mine was in my hands. But then it progressively started to spread over the next 10 years. Of course, the weight-bearing joints did come into play there, but for me, it was particularly scary because my mother has rheumatoid arthritis. And I'm 54 right now. Yes, I'm 54. I was making sure. And my mom has been disabled with rheumatoid arthritis since she was 53. So I've watched her journey of suffering, which has been heartbreaking, really. And it still continues to this day. She has so many things going on. And when I started with joint problems so early, I was watching her thinking, oh, this is what my future is going to be. And so I became, pretty scared. And when I was 45, I wouldn't necessarily say desperate, but I was actively seeking something to help, mostly with the joints. And then, I was hoping that things would clear up with all the other medical problems as well. And I tried Atkins and lost about 15 pounds. I read a book called Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and it sounded logical. It's not, folks. If you've read that book or if you're thinking about it, it's not good science. But I tried it, and I did lose a little bit of weight, but it never helped anything with my joints or my other medical problems. And I tried a number of things. Suzanne Summers had a thing going on over the years, and I tried her diet, but nothing was really working. And then I have a daughter who will be 30 this year, which is crazy to think about, but she's been vegan since she was 16 years old. She turned vegan when she was 16. Actually, she turned vegetarian at 15 and vegan at 16, all for ethical reasons. And she was still home at that time, so I tinkered with some recipes here and there. We weren't changing out, her dad and I weren't changing our diets, but she was, so I needed to make sure she had plenty to eat. And so I was tinkering with it. And then as time went on, and she went off to college, I don't really know how she got to watch Forks Over Knives, the documentary Forks Over Knives. But she had been begging me to watch that documentary. And I'll tell you, since she's ethical vegan, she's asked me to watch some other videos in the past that were just, it upset me. So for almost a year, I did not watch Forks Over Knives, even though she had mentioned it a few times. And when I finally watched it in February of 2013, it was only so that she would quit asking me, so that I could say, finally, when she said, "Did you watch it yet?" I could say, "Yeah, I sure did." And then, tell her whatever I thought. That was my only intention. But watching that was my first introduction to plant-based nutrition, and it changed everything. it changed everything. I was so shocked really at the information that was provided on there by doctors and scientists and experts who were very convincing. Even though the information they were sharing sounded too good to be true, I thought, I'll try it. You know, I tried everything else, why not? So I said 4 weeks, I will try it. And that's what I did. And I started the next day. My husband got on board with me because he happened to be around and saw glimpses of the video that I was watching. And he said, you know, I'll try it. And so we did. And we have not turned back because it was exactly what I had been looking for. Within 2.5 weeks, I would say, I noticed big difference with my joints. And of course, the weight loss is just a wonderful side effect of going plant-based. But not only that, even before the joints started showing, you know, significant improvement, I was sleeping better. Within, maybe days or a week, I was sleeping better and not having to take. Oh, and during that time too, before I found plant-based nutrition, I was taking ibuprofen every single day, multiple times a day, well above the recommended daily dosage. But it was my coping mechanism, and I was seeing a doctor and they were trying to help me. Nobody ever mentioned my diet other than saying I needed to lose some weight. Nobody ever mentioned it. So yeah, it was a shocker for me watching Forks Over Knives, but that's how it began. And I saw such a huge difference in my health. I felt like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Benjamin Button, where he actually goes backward with aging. I felt like I was getting younger instead of getting older, and I was getting healthier instead of sicker. So when that happens to you, some of your followers, if they've experienced that, and I know you two, obviously you're a testament to the same thing. When you start feeling better and you feel like I have found the answer, the first thing you want to do is shout. I wanted to shout from the rooftop and say, listen to me, all you people who are suffering with, joint problems. And that's what you two are doing with your YouTube channel. You are shouting to help people realize there is a way to feel better. And so me wanting to do that led to, I wanted to understand. I knew my body was changing. I didn't understand the reasons for it exactly. By eating vegetables, how could that be? So I started reading and watching everything I could get my hands on about plant-based nutrition, which led me to taking the 𝐏𝐻𝐿 classes on plant-based nutrition and getting my certification. And then I wanted to share, so I applied to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and was selected to be an instructor. I went to DC for training and began my teaching career. And one thing has led to another. In the very beginning, in 2014, even before I was teaching for Food for Life, I wanted to share things. And what I was doing was finding recipes that I liked in cookbooks, and I would snap a picture of them and I would make it. And then I was always on Facebook. That was my thing. And so I would put them up on my personal page and tell people they needed to try it and this and that. And a family member, a young family member in his 20s, reached out to me by messenger or email or something, and he said, I understand what you're doing and I think it's great, but he said this isn't really the platform for that. And he said, why don't you consider doing a blog, share your recipes and your photos there. And he was trying to be, and actually what he did ended up being wonderful and life-changing for me. I'm able to share this important life-changing message without limitation, because everybody has access, not everybody, but most people have access to social media, and we can change the world through that. So that is how I got started, and it has only grown. There's a hunger. People are sick, there's so many people that are sick and looking for answers. And when we join efforts like with the two of you and so many people that I've come in contact through teaching Food for Life in the medical community are coming on board more and more. it's life-changing. It's life-changing for so many people. And I'm just thrilled, honored, everything to be able to do what I love, because this is my passion, to do what I love and have the opportunity and the platform to do it.
Well,
That's great.
That's quite a story, Terri. I was curious, once you decided to go plant-based and you went back maybe to see one or two of your doctors at the time, how did they react to this?
That's a story in itself, because it took me, I'm going to guesstimate, about 6 months before I went back to the doctor. Now, keep in mind, this was a small practice in the little North Carolina area that I live in. There were probably 4, maybe 5 doctors in the practice. And I had been seeing them regularly for all my other issues. And when I went back 6 months later, after losing at that point probably 40-something pounds, and I didn't know what my numbers for cholesterol and blood pressure and all that were going to be, but I was confident that they were going to be better because I was feeling better. I really didn't need their help. My whole reason for making that appointment was that I was so excited, and I felt like I was going to go in there and let them, check me and say, here's your proof. Let me tell you what I did so you can help other patients. So that was the attitude that I went in with. And when they checked everything and the numbers and everything was just so good, the one doctor that I was seeing said, so what are you doing? And I said, plant-based. I went plant-based. And this is, I figured they had never heard of it, let me tell you about it. But they said, oh yeah, a number of the doctors in this practice are already vegetarian, they said. And my attitude went from, I've got something great to tell you, to what in the world are you talking about? If that's the case, I was very, very polite, but I was shocked, and I didn't understand. If they were vegetarian, I'm assuming for their medical reasons, then why didn't anybody, all those visits that I was there, say anything to me? And they said that some of them were Seventh-day Adventist physicians, and they very much believed in the power of food for health, but they also felt like, patients wouldn't try it. They would, feel like it was just not something that they wanted to do. And even if they wanted to try it, they said they did not have the resources. So if a patient said, I want to do this, but I don't even know where to begin, well, they didn't have any kind of resource to help them get started. So they just didn't even bother doing it. So that became my goal at that point. Like I said, I was 6 months in, and that's when I started wanting to take classes and wanting to be able to be the resource that was lacking there. So that led to work, teaching for the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And it's funny, after I became certified to teach, one of the first things I did was all of the local, not all, but a lot of the local medical facilities around me, including that medical practice, I baked, I don't know how many oatmeal raisin cookies, plant-based, oil-free, very healthy oatmeal cookies, because I felt like if I went in there and just handed them pamphlets and brochures, I'm sure people do that all the time, and I figured they would just get put to the side. So I wanted something to, grab their attention. So I took cookies into all of these places along with Physicians Committee pamphlets, and I had classes that I was trying to get started. So I was saying, send your patients to these classes that we're doing. Here are some pamphlets about it. And that worked, because we got a lot of patients. I never taught at that facility. They really didn't have a great place for teaching, but they did send patients to classes that I was teaching there locally. And that's how I got in with other physicians in the area, and what ultimately got me into Gibbs Cancer and Research Center in Spartanburg, South Carolina, where I've taught regularly for, I guess, since 2016. I think January of 2016 was the first classes that I taught. But had I not, been able to get in an area where I could have a platform to teach and get some of that under my belt, I don't know that I would have gotten into the cancer center. So one thing has led to the next thing, which has continually kept me on the path of, I don't even begin to think I know what's next, because every time I think it couldn't get any better, it gets better, y'all. So I just keep trying to follow and just keep my eyes open and say, what's next, Lord? You show me where we're going, because I don't even know, but it's all been great so far.
You were very fortunate that the doctor's practice was Seventh-day Adventist, because already you were a step ahead. Because I've been to doctors in the past, and they never asked me, what am I doing? You know, they never asked us, how did you change? What changed your health?
Yeah, when they see our test scores improve, you know, reading a blood panel.
No questions.
You know, to me, I was so elated with the positive changes, and they didn't say, well, what do you
never
doing?
questioned you.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
So you were very fortunate that you had that inquisitive doctor.
Yeah, and you were very fortunate that you are the new coming of the cookie monster, but to spread the word.
You learned long ago that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
I know.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I imagine that some of our viewers follow Dr. Neil Barnard, and he is the president, I believe, of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Did you get to meet him at all when you were there? And tell us a little bit about the training that you went through, just briefly.
I did get to meet him briefly once there at the training, and I've heard him speak many times at other conferences and things that I've gone to over the years. Such an excellent speaker. But yeah, the Physicians Committee was actually started in 1985. And my understanding is that it started with about 7 physicians. And over the years, now it has grown. The last count I heard was over 12,000 physicians, and that was years ago. So to me, it's thrilling to be able to hold people's hands kind of and say, you can do this. Let me show you how you can do this. And with the success stories, it's like encouraging people, not only can you do it, but listen to these people. Like we shared your success story with people, and I saw so many comments of people saying, I thought I was too old. I thought that I wasn't going to do me any good to try it. But because of Bob and Fran, I am willing to give it a try. If they can do it, I can do it. So, things like that, you're showing people, other people who have done it, encouraging them they can do it, and then giving them the recipes and the scientific information that says, you got this, we're behind you, you've got this. What could be better? I mean, there's nothing that could be more satisfying as something to do as a career in my life than doing this and getting messages like I'm sure you both get of people saying, this has changed my life. And so I almost get emotional thinking about it, because if you can impact one person's life for the better, that is amazing. But when you have platforms like social media and you're reaching people in Australia and Germany and just all over the place, I'm overcome with thankfulness and joy. There really aren't words that can satisfy what I feel, but I feel blessed. I feel very blessed and just thankful.
Well, that's why we keep doing it too, because there's so much false information available to people, and they're so confused, and it's just rewarding to be able to let them know that this is what's real.
Yeah, we get the similar comments, and that really is just fuels our going
but
forward.
She has one advantage. She gets to eat the results.
Yeah. Yes.
Then I have to go cook.
Yeah, I do 2 new photo shoots a week. And when it's photo shoot day, which is usually Mondays and Thursdays, we know dinner is going to be awesome.
That's great. Except for the flops, right?
Yeah, those are a little discouraging, but yeah, most of the time we eat them anyway, but some of the times
Just
they
to the
gotta
dog,
go.
right?
I tell you, we personally thought of you last night because we enjoyed an entree of the buffalo wings, the cauliflower
Oh,
buffalo wings.
Those are so good.
And
Although I
then-
have to tell you that we stopped using the barbecue sauce and now we only use the hot sauce.
Yeah,
Oh, see, that sounds delicious to me. Mickey's not
Right.
great with hot sauce, but I am. And they're so crunchy right after you bake them. I imagine that
Yes.
hot sauce would be.
And
Yeah.
leftovers are amazing. If you put them in the air fryer for a few minutes just to heat them up, they're even crunchier.
and then
Oh, what a
so that was followed by your recipe for chocolate zucchini muffins.
Oh my
Which
God.
is-
I was really hesitant about that one because no way was anything cooked, baked with zucchini going to be good.
Yeah, zucchini.
Whoa. As a matter of fact, the first time I made them, we had some friends come to for lunch. One of our friends is a retired physician. He's 90 years old, and he also switched to a plant-based diet to reverse his arthritis.
Wonderful.
And when I told him I was going to be serving, chocolate zucchini muffins for dessert, he says, "Oh, I don't eat zucchini. I don't like zucchini." 2 muffins later, he changed his mind.
I especially liked what you said just a few minutes back. And for all our viewers who are thinking about going plant-based, who are concerned about the ramifications of going plant-based, who are on it, but maybe are slipping, I think what you say is very fortifying, that people could go to your website, and that again is eatplant-based.com, for someone to really help you through this whole process. So whether you're new or a seasoned veteran of eating a plant-based diet, think about going to see Terri and learning from Terri. We personally do it, and it's changed our lives. And we in turn hopefully inspire other people. We talked about the idea of reversing your age, so we'll let out the secret now. Fran and I are really 104, but we've kept reversing our age, so we're down into the 80s now, and you can do the same. So Terri, we want to thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it. We want to thank all of our viewers for checking in with us, and we appreciate your support of our channel and subscribing to our channel. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for
Bye
now.
now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Terri, bye-bye for now.
Thank you.